Hey guys, today we've got another brawler guide, this time for Shelly. Same as always, leave a comment for a brawler you want to see a guide for, and if it gets a lot of likes, I will do that one next. Also, if you have any suggestions on the guide format, then comment that as well, and if I like it, I will add it to the video. And let's get into the guide. Starting off, the build you're going to want to use is the Clay Pigeons gadget. The other one's not good, don't get that one. For star power, both are good in my opinion. I think Band-Aid's underrated, but if you're only going to get one star power, I would get Shell Shock. If you don't have a lot of coins or you're trying to max as many brawlers as you can and you only want one, I'd get Shell Shock. But Band-Aid is pretty good if you have extra coins. I would get both star powers, but obviously a lot of people can't do that, so just get Shell Shock for one. As for gears, get speed, unless you don't like playing on bushy maps, but then you probably don't want to play Shelly because that's where she does best. And then you can either get damage or gadget as the second gear. If you're really good with the gadget gear is a good choice, but if you struggle with hitting all the gadget shots at max range, just get damage. It's not going to be that much of a difference. They're both going to get value at different times. For the modes you're going to want to play, I would play mostly Brawl Ball. Stick to that as much as you can, but she is kind of underrated on Knockout. A lot of you will hear that and just be confused, but she's pretty decent against a lot of assassins that are played there, and she has decent pressure against throwers and snipers, and if you just pop one gadget a lot of times, you can take out snipers unless they have shield gear maybe, or at least pressure them back. She's good on maps like Flaring Phoenix and Bell's Rock, but other than that, stick to Brawl Ball. If you like other modes, she's not terrible there. As long as it's a close range map or you're playing it and you're seeing a lot of tanks, then it's definitely fine to play Shelly there. Like I said, close range maps are best for her, although you can play mid-range maps if they have closed lanes on the side, but otherwise I wouldn't play maps that have like mid-range or long-range lanes, because, and you definitely don't want to play Shelly mid, but mid to long-range lanes are not great because those are the brawlers that are going to be best against Shelly, especially mid-range brawlers are pretty bad for her. Obviously, the best matchups for Shelly are tanks and assassins. Nothing they can really do against you. They're only going to feed super value, feed hypercharge value, and there's nothing they can really do, no outplay potential. If you've got one of those on the other team, just stick on them as much as you can. Shelly's pretty fast. They shouldn't really be able to get on a different lane from you, so if they swap lanes, swap with them. Don't get on a bad matchup. Those bad matchups are going to be mid-range brawlers like Stu, Max, Nita, Ruffs, anything mid-range, to be honest, that has like decent damage output and decent mobility is very bad for Shelly. There's nothing she can do. She can't push into them, and she can't really chip them down from long range. They're always going to win a mid-range interaction. Spawners, also not good for her. She can't really kill the Nita Bear at all. Like, there's nothing you can do against Nita Bear, Jessie Turret. You're only going to feed them value if you run at them, so don't push into those brawlers if you see them. Especially don't push into their spawnables. Try not to feed super if you're against them, if you're laning them at the start. And if you are laning them, I would try and switch off. She's kind of hit or miss with throwers. She's fine because she has wall break against them. That's going to help your teammates get value, and I guess you'll get value as well throughout the game the more walls you break. But at the same time, in like an isolated interaction, brawlers like Willow and Barley are going to sort of counter her, especially if they have an unbreakable wall. Nothing really special with the main attack. Everyone knows you do more damage at close range and less at long, but don't worry too much. You can still shoot from longer range to start getting your super and pressuring them back. If they do just try and ignore the long range shots, just keep shooting them, you'll get more super value. And if they push into you, you kill them. Don't waste all your ammo doing chip damage though, because when you do that, you're going to be really weak for when they push up to you. So at least save one ammo, maybe two, or like 1.5, and just try and balance your ammo. But getting super is important as well, so don't just sit there and wait till they get within like 1 or 2 tiles of you. Definitely chip them from long range a little bit. When they're at close range, don't manually aim. I know it's weird to hear that in a guide, but like there's no reason not to auto aim. You might as well auto aim. There's really no reason not to, because you're gonna hit your shots anyway. I guess you wouldn't if there was like a spawnable or special target there in the way, but otherwise manually aim at far. You can't really miss, but it's kind of to ensure you're shooting at the right thing, because there might be multiple targets within range, and better safe than shoot at the wrong thing and don't get a free kill, because the auto aim just defaults to whatever's closest. Some stuff you can do with the super: you can cancel stuff like Frank attacks, obviously, Frank supers, BB attacks, anything with a delay in front of it. But you can also cancel things that take longer to unload and don't unload all at once, like Colt attacks, Colt supers, Rico attacks, Rico supers, anything that doesn't unload all the projectiles at once. Make sure when you're using your super, you don't try and force max damage. Just like the main attacks, there's no reason to run all the way in just to get a super value. You can even lose to easy matchups like Bull, Primo if you just straight line at them trying to like get within one tile for a super. You're still going to get your super back pretty quickly if you just pop your super and then shoot at them with regular attacks. There's no reason to just rush all the way in just to do like 2k extra damage, especially because you can't super stack like you used to. If you're using Shell Shock, which you will be if you're playing Brawl Ball for the most part, even in any mode, a lot of people like to use Shell Shock, and if that's your only star power, you probably will be. I wouldn't use a super just to get one, maybe even two people slowed. If it is three people standing next to each other, you can pop a super just to slow their whole team, because especially if your teammates are there, because then they can come in and get value off the slow, and you'll charge most of it back anyway. But I wouldn't just pop a super by itself just to get one person slow if you're not going to confirm the kill off of it. It's kind of a waste of a super. As most people know, Shelly's really good at scoring goals if she's there. One of the best goal scorers up close. You can't really do anything. Just shoot at either post, whichever one they're not standing at. And if they're standing in the middle, you can pick either one. Even if there's no posts and they're just standing in the way, if you time the super right, you can just knock them back and the ball will go through them, or you knock them back and they'll be out of the goal line and the ball goes in. The gadget can be kind of hard to master, but the more you practice, the better you'll be. It's honestly, just try and think of it like sniper shots. I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of people still try and aim it and shoot it like Shelly. If you pretend it's like sniper, it'll be a lot easier to hit. Usually you want to pop one gadget at the start. As you walk over to your lane and shoot through the mid, try and help your mid by instantly getting their mid to like half HP, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but as long as you put some pressure, they have to retreat. It'll help your mid establish their position, as well as start giving you some supercharge before you even get to your lane. You get about 4 or 5 attacks off during the gadget, so if you want, you can fire like 2 or 3 to the mid, and then fire 1 to your lane by the time you walk there, because she is pretty fast. You'll probably get there while the gadget is still active, and they'll start pressuring on your lane as well. After one gadget, I wouldn't just be popping them for supercharge unless you like really need a super late in the game, like you're down a goal or something. But otherwise, I would save the gadget for like if you're going to get a ton of value, maybe like 2 or more kills is enough value to pop a gadget for. I wouldn't pop a gadget for 1 kill unless it's just like an important lane kill or something. Like I said, if you're down, you can always pop a gadget for that, but I wouldn't pop it just to win 1 lane, especially if it's a good matchup. If it's a really bad matchup, I guess you could use the gadget, but you only have so many if you're not in gadget gear. You can also combo the gadget with the super, especially with Shell Shock, but it actually works without. Just put the super, and if you're using Shell Shock, you can auto aim like 3 gadget attacks with it, and they're pretty much guaranteed to hit. You can't really miss. They're going to be slowed. That's going to kill most brawlers in the game unless they have some sort of shield or dash or escape method. But other than that, it's good value, especially if you get like 2 people with it. You might even be able to get a double kill. Probably not a triple kill because you don't have enough ammo for that. You can also do it without Shell Shock if you're on Band-Aid or you don't have star power at all. While they're being knocked back, you're guaranteed at least 1 hit, because when you're being knocked back, you're sort of stunned. You can't really move to the side, even with escape abilities. So you'll get 1 hit for free, and after that, you'll just have to aim. But it's sort of like a free 4k damage, maybe more at least. So still combo it with the super, even without Shell Shock, it's worth it. Also with Band-Aid, you can bait the enemies into coming to get you, even when you're about to pop the heal. Just wait until you're a couple seconds away from getting the Band-Aid heal, and if you go behind a wall or something, a lot of times you can bait them if they don't know you have Band-Aid yet, or they just forget about it because you're below Band-Aid HP, and then once it comes, you'll get the heal, and you'll definitely win the interaction because it's like 2k healing or something for free. Nothing special with the Hyper. In my opinion, it's one of the worst Hypercharges in the game. At least based on the super effect, it doesn't really do that much. The only thing it allows you to do is you can super chain like you used to be able to before the supercharge nerf. If you get a full super hit and then a full main attack hit, you will get a super back, and then you can repeat that. I mean, you're only going to get at max 2 supers on 1 brawler, because even against a Frank, it's 1 super, 1 attack, and 1 super to get the full kill. Honestly, a lot of the time, the most value comes from the speed of the Hypercharge, because she gets such a big speed boost, and it's like a free max speed without having a max on your team. So you can just pop it for pressure and aggression, and then push their team all the way back. Alright, a lot of you wanted me to do some commentated games in the guide, so I'll do 2 this time. One where I play more passive, and one where I play more aggressive. Alright, this game was at, I think it was my last game to 1k again. I already have rank 35. one of my few rank 35s. I don't really play ladder anymore. I only play for tournaments and scrims, but these guys are decent. I think they're just like ladder players. Push up and get Rico. I was playing more aggressive at the start, but I think I should have been playing more defensive because they do have a Willow and a Rico, and those are not great matchups, at least until I get some wall break. And if I don't go on the BB, my Frank is going to have a harder time, so I should just really stick on the BB here. Frank gets a stun. He's not going to get the kill. I dodge a Willow shot here, and that sort of gives me an opening because I see Rico use 2 ammo, and that lets me push up on Willow. They could have used a gadget, but I think they would have wasted it, to be honest. I'm just going to wait. I'm playing more passive. I don't want to just feed Rico hyper value and stuff. I go for the break because we have a Crow on this map, and they have a Thrower, a BB, and a Rico, so I'm just going to go for the break. You can just use your super for utility sometimes. That's a pretty easy matchup. I'm playing more passive, so I'm not going to push into the BB. I'll just try and bait his ammo out and get chip shots. I thought Rico would try and dodge. He just didn't. So we get the BB instead. I'm trying to just waste Willow's ammo here. Like I was saying before, you can just bait their ammo and then they're less good. As soon as he got the super, I don't want to have to pop my band-aid here. I think if Frank hits me again, I might pop my band-aid. So we just wait, and the Willow super didn't really get any value. And now that the map's open, Crow's playing much better. I get the kill. Crow wastes the super, but the BB also misses, so it's fine. We should have scored in the first place if Crow just passed it to me, but the BB saves us. The Rico hyper wasn't as good. I'm just going to stay back here. I'm trying to get a hyper value. You can't go too close to Willow because they will get the super off. I get a double kill. Unfortunately, my teammates are already dead. It's fine. I could have tried to super BB. I don't know if it would have saved it because I'm not on shell shock. I think they would have scored anyway. Might as well stop the Rico from getting more hypercharge value. When you're playing passive against bad matchups, you really want to focus on movement. I'm just dodging as many Willow shots as I can, faking going up and going back. You can't do that too much, though, against throwers, because eventually they'll realize it's their max range. So right there, I just ran up anyway, because I kept dodging back so many times. I had to go forwards at least once. BB, I'll just not let him get ammo. Sort of a 1v3 here, because Crow was canceled, but Rico over-aggressed, and we get the kill. We're really just trying to punish their mistakes, like a bad Rico super and stuff like that, because I'm playing passive. I don't have the best matchups. Like, theoretically, Willow and Rico are pretty good until we get the wall breaks. Frank's going to get a decent hypercharge. I don't want to do too much on the BB here. I've got to still throw a super over to the right. You want to be aware. Don't waste too much for one kill, especially when they're on the side. Game mid's better. I don't straight line the ball. I use a dodge to get there, and we get the win. Pretty easy, 7-1. These guys are like over 1K, I think, on their brawlers. All right, this one, we have better matchups in general, other than the Dynamite, who is very good at Dynamite, apparently. So we're going to play a lot more aggressive this time. I gadget off start. I should have waited 1 second. I just mistimed it. We have a massive Dyna diff this game, as you'll see. Their Dyna's really good. Waste the Frank gadget, and now we know he's on that gadget, so if he uses a super, we can straight line him with our super and get the kill. He's also using all his gadgets really quickly. We're going to get him here. I don't think I needed to use my gadget there. And we die. I don't know what our Dyna was really doing, but I didn't play great. It's good that I made some mistakes. I should have not gone all the way to the left. I should have aggressed on the Dynamite because that's where the rest of our team has a hard time, especially if our Dyna's not very good. Get the Hypercharge. You can see off my one Hypercharge, I pushed him all the way back. That's what you want to do when you're playing aggressive. Just get the full pressure. Because even though our Frank is dead, I have full control, and they can't push into me too much. I'm going to push them back here. It's honestly fine to stay on low HP. I should have just dodged better. I mean, I wasn't really paying attention, but I could have just held him back. Dyna gets a good kill there. He wasn't playing great the rest of the game, but I think they go for a goal. No. We're just going to take the ball up, get it out of the spawn, because if they get that, it's pretty much a win for them, especially with Primo jump at any time. I'll focus Primo because he's being over-aggressive, and I can focus on dodging for Dynamite more. Get the Band-Aid pop. Our Frank's going to go up, I think. Yeah. I cancel it for him, although he does have the gadget anyway. He could have just saved it. Here I make a good play. This is mostly just awareness. Start with the Dynamite. The Primo gets me with the super there. I think he could have just scored. Dodge one Frank shot and then push in because he picked up the ball, so he's not going to have enough time to get an attack off before I two-shot him. It's things like that. You got to pay attention to ammo count. And just knowing like Frank takes so long to charge up with full HP, and you can deal like 10k damage at once. Get a good goal there. Good from Dynamite. Shelly is a good goal scorer. I didn't even need to use my super. Paired it with the Dyna well. I'm just focusing I don't need to focus the Frank because our Dynamite's playing better now, and he does counter the Frank. And even though I counter the Frank, I think I should be on Primo and Dyna more. And we push up here. My movement's getting better mid-game. I'm reading the Dyna's patterns a lot more. I'm going to focus Frank. Sort of a wasted super, but it's going to give me some hypercharge value, and it's going to get a ton of pressure on them. As you see, they're fully back in their spawn at this point. I think Frank could have scored that. That's why I passed to him, but it's fine. I get my hyper. I run back a little because I know he's going to super me, and that gets me out. He does still hit me. And here, it's more just awareness. Like, if there's two people, I flick a super over, pressure Dynamite, and I keep dodging back, so this time I straight line him, switching up the movement. Frank could have just scored regularly, but he didn't, and we get good super value. So we played very well that game, except for the beginning, obviously. We made a mistake. We were just on the wrong matchups. But yeah, 9-2, 120k damage, and 10-game win streak. Like, these weren't even, like, I didn't pick the two best games. Like, you can see they're back-to-back games. And it was just the two games I played today when I commentated. Those other ones are for background gameplay yesterday. Subscribe if you enjoyed, because I will be making more guides. I'm trying to be more consistent as much as possible. If I sound burnt out in this video, it's because I had to record the gameplay 3 times because I deleted it once, and I recorded 12 minutes without the mic plugged in, so I guess that's how it goes. And I'll see you in the next video.